Welcome into the 19th episode of the Titan Report podcast. My name is Jackson Weber. Your Tennessee Titans are 1-5. We just lost against the Raiders. I told y'all a lot of things were going to happen, and they happened. So we're going to recap the game, and then I'm going to give my thoughts of the game. We give some stats, stuff that I did not like at all. And then we have some post-game reactions from Cam Ward, Cody Barton, Jeffrey Simmons, and J.C. Latham all in there. Brian Callahan as well at the end of the episode. Thank you all for tuning in. Welcome in. We're almost to 20 episodes. How about that, y'all? It's been a big blessing. This has been about 3 months since we've done this show, and it's been incredible. This has been incredible, and I'm so thankful for y'all. And I watched a lot. I watched almost all this game. I was busy today, but I got to watch most of the game, which is the most important part. So we'll kind of break it down. We'll kind of break down most of the drives, and then we'll get right into the stats. So the first drive, again, the Titans go 3 and out. This is the problem. They start out really slow, and Cam Ward talked about it, and you guys will hear it at the I pulled like a minute of a clip, minute and a half clips from each guy, and Cam Ward right there. He said that. So it's run, pass. I mean, it's run. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, you brought Corey Levin in as the eligible guy on the right side to help with Crosby, but really nothing happened. That's frustrating. So, and then you punt, right? Johnny Hekker only punted 36. Again, that wasn't a great punt either. And the Raiders go 13 plays, 53 yards to go down and go score. Again, another guy, Ashton Jeanty, had a good game. It doesn't look good on paper, but he did what he had to do. Jeffrey Simmons got a nice sack on this drive. Simmons had a crazy game again. Good to see Big Jeff get in there. Jeff is flying around. He's looking like a beast, and shout out to Jeff for that. And so the Titans get the ball again, and you're like, okay, this is time the Titans got to go score, right? Cam Ward got a couple nice short pass. I mean, it's just that these screens, the Titans, these screens are just not working. You tried with Chig, you tried with Spears, and they didn't work. And then, you get a big play for Calvin Ridley, as a whole, thankfully, defensive opponent. Ridley's hurt, which we'll talk about that. We don't have an update, so hopefully it's just a week-to-week thing, and Ridley will be back. But, again, injuries are killing the Titans right now. Tony Pollard obviously got to run, and of course you get a false start. I mean, it won't be the Tennessee Titans if you don't get a false start. Cam got sacked right after that. It's unfortunate. And another screen pass, but Johnny Hekker got another punt, and they exchange punts, and then the Titans get the ball back, and then finally, you're pinned in your own end zone. Pollard got to run for a yard, right? It's 3rd down and 7. I mean, it's frustrating when you're putting your rookie quarterback in these 3rd down and long situations, and Cam gets sacked. As a blitz up the middle, Pollard wasn't there, right? Pollard, if he was there, he would have picked up the linebacker, but Pollard was not there at the time. He was not lined up next to Cam, so Cam was free rush, and he had probably 6 come at you, and boom, Devin White, one of the most underrated linebackers in the league, who's been around for a long time, just slammed Cam to the ground. The ball came out, boom, fumble. And of course, Raiders go score for a touchdown. And Titans punt, and then it's a 10-0 game. You're like, okay, then maybe we can get some score before half. Well, no, Cam throws an interception. This isn't college. I get it. You're at a 2nd and 10. You want to try to get the ball downfield. It was tipped. I mean, he was hit when the ball came out. But that's a ball either you got to get rid of quickly and you can't hold on for long, which Cam held the ball on for way too long today. And then it was end of half. So, again, the first half, the Lions got shut out. They finally got their first points after the Raiders got a touchdown from Jeanty, 17-3. And then you know what? You're like, okay, Raiders threw a pick, and you can't capitalize off of that. The Raiders made a turnover, and you can't capitalize off that. That's why the Titans didn't win the football game, right? The best play of the game was when the Titans went to go score. David Martin Robinson got a 1-yard touchdown from Cam Ward. This was the best drive the Titans had all game long. They're moving the ball efficiently, moving the ball well downfield. They're making good plays on offense. Offensive line was pretty decent this drive. And then, Raiders punt, and then you fumble the ball at the end of the game, and that's it. So that was really frustrating. Stats of the game: Cam Ward, 26-38, 222, touchdown in the pick. Tony Pollard and Spears did not get anything on the ground going. Pollard with 10 for 34, Spears 5 for 31. Both guys not real much on the ground. Calvin Ridley, like I said, did get injured. So Van Jefferson and Chig Okwonu took most of the targets today. Chig had 6 for 46. Jefferson had 4 for 75. Alec Ironmaner had 3 for 27. In the game day, Gunnar Helm only had 2 for 15 today. David Martin Robinson with that one catch. And then Tyler Lock got targeted a couple times with one catch, but no yards on that one. So the Raiders is totally a different story. Geno Smith, I mean, he nothing flashy, but he came out and did a nice job for the Titans. Ashton Jeanty also had a good game. Also, that was something that really frustrated me because the Raiders' offensive line was not great coming into this game. Yes, you did get 2 sacks, however, but still, it's frustrating on the Raiders' offensive line. Key takeaways: number 1, the Titans' offensive line. This is frustrating. Again, we talked about the offensive line was good for the past couple weeks, and then boom, you give up 6 sacks. That's something that's, half it's your quarterback holding the ball for too long, but half it's just like you get beat. Max Crosby had J.C. Latham on his high heels today. It is J.C.'s first game, so I'm not going to be credited too much towards him. You guys can hear at the end of this at the show, he did say, hey, this was on me, but he had a couple tackles for loss. He had six tackles in total. He had 2 of them for loss and 2 sacks. So, man, just, it happens, man. Your first game back, I told y'all might happen, but it's still really frustrating when, Max Crosby comes in there and kind of kicks your butt. Yeah, that is very frustrating on that one. Another biggest thing I saw is that, turnovers from Cam. He did not look great today. He held the ball off way too long. Some sloppy plays in there, way overthrown balls on 3rd down. That was just something that I watched and I saw. I'm like, okay, it's kind of questionable. We'll talk about that in just a minute, but that's another thing I kind of noticed, and I was not too thrilled on some things I saw from Cam. Another thing is too, number 3 is how well did defense actually held them in the game for most of the fourth quarter. Again, fourth quarter, they're actually pretty solid. But again, you had your miss-ups. Now, the biggest thing was in the second quarter, was that play from Geno Smith out. I have to do some more research. I'll let you guys know more on Friday. But it looked to me that ball, that his arm was the ball was just coming out as his arm was just going forward. It's both ways. We know this play from Jacksonville years ago. It could have gone both ways, but I think this was the right call, and it was an incomplete pass. But honestly, it can really go both ways here. But that is actually pretty frustrating. That could have been a touchdown, and the Titans, could have had a bigger chance later on in the game. That's just what I got to say, though. So, yeah, this was a very frustrating game, And another thing I do want to say, though, is for the Titans, and this is kind of one of my biggest thoughts, is how about Cedric Gray? He had double-digit tackles again. This is a guy, like I mentioned before, who's really stepped up and finally get that linebacker spot number 2. So good to see Cedric Gray get in there. Snead got nice tackles today. Jeffrey Simmons that was out there, he looked good all game. I think Simmons, again, he had a couple quarterback pressures. I think the Titans would be stupid if they traded Simmons. I think they'll be stupid if they traded Simmons. And don't do it. Some trade rumors we do have to talk about. Unfortunately, Adam Schefter came out last night and basically said these are some Titans who are out there on the trade market before we get to any injuries. So the Titans' potential trade candidates, the Tyler Lockett, Jake Okwonu, Kevin Zeitler, Arden Key, Draymond Jones, and Roger McClary. All these guys are free agents, number 1. Let's just say that. I would be fine trading most of these guys except Roger and probably Kevin just because so Cam doesn't get killed on the offensive line. Chig, I'm in the middle for it. Can go really both ways. Yeah, it can really go 50-50 for Chig. I think this game, I think we should keep him for now. I think we should keep him to build with Cam. I think I saw today. I'm more on the leaning of no because he was Cam's one of the most sacred. Not sacred blankets, but I'm just saying he's one of the weapons that Cam felt comfortable with today. and six catches and 6 targets. So yeah, I wouldn't probably move Chig right now. But let me know what you guys thinking. Let me know you guys' thoughts of who we should keep or not. But I definitely think Chig should be staying. I don't think he should be traded from the Titans. But yeah, those are my thoughts on that. I do also want to say though, so there's some rumors early in the week that the Titans got contacted for Simmons. It got officially reported by we talked about this before. Titan Upload. Shout out to them. They talked about Jeffrey Simmons and they talked about with him with Jacksonville, and that's what Jared Stillman brought up. And same thing in Chicago. They both made calls. The Titans shouldn't do it. They should not entertain the offers for Simmons. I'm not a GM, so I'm not going to make the call. But no, they should not entertain the call for Simmons. That should be a no-brainer, and that should be off the clock. So, but yes, it was just pretty frustrating game. I think everybody did not stick together, and everybody was just kind of at the game. Jeffrey Simmons said this was the worst practice. Jeffrey Simmons came out and said this is the worst practice, and that's on coaching. If that does not tell you something to wake up, that should tell you right now that's a big red flag, and somebody has to wake the heck up. Because the fact that somebody came out there, your star player said, yeah, we did not have a good practice this week, and you're not going to have good practice all the time. That's okay. But the fact is that you're slow, and Simmons is saying that about your own coach. I mean, that's on the coach's staff. That's saying, hey, man, you guys didn't get us ready against the Raiders. Oh, okay. And Callahan was saying, everyone's got to be better around me. He's got to, it's the same thing. Coach better play better, man. I'm tired of hearing it. Like, I mean, how are you going to coach better? Right? That's the big question mark here. So yeah, his coaching staff is in big question mark right now as we're heading to week 7 against Mike Vrabel next week. That's going to be a bloodbath. They just won against New Orleans, and they're 4-2 heading to Nashville with the momentum high. They just beat Buffalo the week before. And Drake May and Stephon Diggs. Oh, man. We're going to talk about that next podcast, though. I'm a little scared for Vrabel. That might be Callahan's last game on the Titans. Another embarrassing stat. Callahan is 4-19, and Vrabel is 4-2. So Vrabel's got more wins his first year as a Patriot than Callahan has had a year and a half with the Tennessee Titans. Okay. All right. I want to bring y'all up to some speed, to some stats I saw tonight. I want to bring up on the podcast. Cam Ward is not great in pressure, and that's the truth. He was pressured 36.4% of his dropbacks. Whoa. So the Raiders defense did not create pressure all year, created 34% pressure of his dropbacks. Okay. He's not great. Under pressure right now. That's something to keep in mind of. So we have to see about that next year. But yeah, that's pretty much one of the stats about that. Also, there's another stat I wanted to bring up also. The Titans have 83 points this season, their fewest through 6 games since 1985. Oh, whoa. Okay. They weren't even a team then. They were the Oilers. So you're telling me since 1985, the Titans have had 83 points, the fewest through 6 games. Okay. All right. And another thing I want to bring up is that fumble by Cam at the end. Yeah, that's just that. I watched that over and over again. I'm trying to see what it was. He was trying to go deep. He didn't have the ball securely in their hand, and he just dropped it. He felt the pressure off the edge, and he just dropped that pass. So that was frustrating. But anyway, that's it. And I think personally that I'm going to tell y'all, I'm going to leave y'all with this right now. And this is going to be a big topic to next episode and two. I don't think y'all should give up on Cam Ward. I think this is not to give up a rookie quarterback with 6 games into the year. I saw so many Titans fans tonight giving up on him. Obviously, yes, he has no weapons. He has no offensive line. That's the truth. Give him time to develop. I think this coaching staff might not be the right for him. And obviously, Jackson Dart has been better because he has had a decent coaching staff around him, and they built decently behind him in New York. Because Cam Scab was going off, and Malik Neighbors was there. So I think personally, number one, I think the Titans got to address that. I think they got to look at next year and how they can build around Cam Ward, and they should definitely be looking more into that. I know this game was a lot of Cam Ward's fault, but I want to see how he goes in practice this week and be better coming out against we face the Patriots. We'll talk about that later in the week. All right. These are the interviews. Enjoy the next 5 minutes and a half with interviews with all the Titans head coaches, Callahan, Barton, Simmons, Ward, all that stuff, and plus JC Latham. Stay tuned to that. We'll see y'all next week. Titan.
Disappointing outcome. Obviously, you can't turn the ball over 3 times. You can't give them 7 points when you turn the ball over on a 2-yard line. That's hard to overcome. Didn't play well on offense, really anywhere, shape, or form. Had some pretty good effort defensively over the course of the early part of the game, and then they converted a couple third downs in that last drive to score the last touchdown they scored. Just kind of got a little bit leaky at the end there. Couldn't quite clamp down. But yeah, it is what it is. It's disappointing all the way around. It's disappointing we can't find a way to play better offensively, and that's why we're where we're at.
Felt like there was a lot of free rushers today. Did you feel like communication was an issue?
We only had one. The sack fumble was free. We had an error on the right side there. We should squeeze. We're hot either way. We're in 5-man protection with edge help, so we're hot there. Ball's got to come out, but we didn't squeeze it, so he's not hot off the most outside guy, which we should have been, and put ourselves in the best spot there. So yeah, we didn't execute that part. But as far as free runners, I don't remember anyone else that was free. We might have missed the blockers too.
With the screen game,
real disappointed. Just as an offense, especially myself, anytime you have 3 turnovers, you're not going to have a chance to win the game. Especially 2 of them were real bad turnovers, just situationally backed up and then before the half. But that's just something that I just got to continue to can't let happen. I know I can't let it happen, but we're just going to continue to keep going.
Do you feel like you guys are communicating effectively out there on the field when you get into these situations?
From coaching staff or like player?
Player.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. We don't really have no communication issues from player to player. And so that's just something that we got to continue to build off. And we can't keep starting games off slow. I can't keep starting off slow. We just got to start fast and also got to maintain that throughout the game.
Has there been any of that on you mentioned the coaching side, like just because of the change of the play caller, anything like that?
Just situationally?
Yeah.
Nah, not really. And we weren't in no crazy situation because we were losing. So it was just something that we got to maintain a lead. We got to get a lead. We got to stop, turn the ball over for myself. And we just got to win games.
The fourth quarter was so encouraging.
yeah, I mean, that is disappointing. I mean, when you could, in this league, you got to learn how to stack wins, and to be able to carry that momentum over, you have to do. It started at practice. I probably, just being honest, like this probably was one of our worst week of practice. Came out flat Thursday and things like that in that nature too. Sometimes things carry over, and when you get in this league, you have to prove it every week and reprove it. You got to go out there and keep proving yourself, your team, that you can win this league. And we didn't do that on all 3 phases. And today was bad football. We didn't play good today at all. So
just focusing on the areas to improve in. Starts with practice, having a good week of practice, carrying it over to the game.
How did you feel practice week went?
Second.
How did you feel like the practice week went, and how you maybe assess how things went today?
Yeah, it's obviously going to be not as intense as the game, especially as a rusher like Max, being one of the better rushers in the league. So you just got to be on your P's and Q's to every rep you take in practice. So.
Was there anything in particular that he was doing to allow him to win on some of those reps?
I just think the 2 sacks. He just won the rep at the top of the rush. And just kept going and finished stronger than I did. So.
Seems like there's some extra frustration from you after this one. Just how difficult is it to wait so long to come back and then to have this happen?
Extremely difficult. You want to be an anchor for this team, a player that the team can depend on, and I let the team down today. I didn't do what I was supposed to do today to give the team the best chance to succeed.
Yeah, it's very disappointing, but you try to keep going. There's nothing you can do. It is frustrating. I hate losing, but you just got to keep going. That's just part of the job, and so we'll look at the tape, other things we can get better at, and just the other day we got to play complementary football.
How much the reversal, how much of a momentum change was that? How much of a momentum boost could that have been?
On the which one?
On the pick, you had to pick up on the Jihad.
Oh, on the
forced fumble.
on the touchdown.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't see the replay very well. I don't know if it was. I don't know what they saw in the overturn. I mean, obviously I don't have the TV, so I don't know. But that would have been big. It would have made it. Would have been a 3-point game at that point. But yeah, so that's frustrating. But it's just. I mean, there's a lot of thoughts going through my head right now. But that would have been huge. Momentum wise and just score wise.
Do you think those plays are called consistently, though, Cody, where it's, the refs are trying to figure out between a complete pass or fumble?
I don't know. Selfishly, I thought it was a touchdown. I thought it was a fumble. But that being said, I don't have the views they're looking at, and so, I mean, it's hard to say.
Let's talk about you guys having to keep going. Do you think that you guys need to keep doing the same things, or is there something that needs to change in order for you guys to keep going?
Well, there's always things you got to change, but when you say keep going, what we say when we say keep going is just keep fighting, keep sticking together, keep trusting each other, and that's what we mean when we say keep going. But obviously there's going to be things on both sides of the ball that we need to fix and change from that, right? But yeah, when we say keep going, though, we just mean what we're saying is stick together, keep going together as a team, not causing division or pointing fingers and all that shit.
As a team,